I think it's always been a dream to connect children with farm animals, with nature. It's always been a thread. No matter where I've been working, I've always gotten children outside for at least part of their therapy. But then when the opportunity came to buy the little farm, it was perfect. And I knew that I could take my dream to the actual place where I knew that children could connect with animals. Usually when people think of therapy, they think of a clinical setting or a hospital clinic. So the farm is unique. When I first started seeing children, I would see them individually. And I still think that that's the best way to begin, because it's a new setting. With any of us, when we come to a new setting, we need to find out where we are in that setting. When they become comfortable, then it's time to introduce them to perhaps a small group, another child or two other children, and then they learn to begin to be able to cooperate, to share the chores, to share that, oh, that child can like the chickens too. That child can help me gather eggs. And then the next step would be perhaps seeing them in a camp setting where there are several adults, different therapists, and several other children, so that it becomes more of a model of how you can survive and enjoy working with a group. I think what the therapists have been attracted to in coming to the United States and to the farm specifically is how silly we can be, how spontaneous we can be, how kind of out of the box we can be. I can remember a very good friend, a therapist who works in Tokyo, who came, and he happened to be here when one of the camps was going on, and we were pulling beats, and we were doing supination and pronation and singing and all the things that go on with therapy in a very, very open, kind of free way. And when he left, he was in tears. He was so excited and so pleased to see what we could do, and he was saying, this is what I'd like to do. I would like more of this in my culture. When I go to Japan, and I've lectured there, and I've gone and I've visited their clinics, and I've sensed and lived in their culture, I sense a very discreet, nuanced sensitivity to life in a very beautiful way that has influenced the way I work with children. It's the basis of everything. So you go from there, combining it with proprioceptive and vestibular. And so we learn from each other. They're learning spontaneity, I'm learning discreet, nuanced caring in a very refined way that I would not have known if I hadn't visited and learned from them. There's an amazing preschool very close to Nagasaki that integrates everything that you might dream of, that integrates sensory integration and music and an exquisite understanding of child development. There's a real soul connection, a real connection between the people who have developed this preschool and our farm, because the man who is the owner with his wife of this preschool has been to Colorado at least 3 times and has visited the farm at least twice. And while he was developing his dream of his preschool, I was developing my dream of the farm. They've integrated the things that a child needs in movement, in music, and tactile, and weight bearing, and all the things that we would like to address at some level on our farm, but in a very advanced way. And we saw children doing things that, oh my goodness, children can do that? Yes, they can do that. Most of these children were average children. They were children without disabilities. But within this setting, they were able to include children with challenges, whether they had Down syndrome or whether they had congenital amputee, problems, whatever it was, these children fit right in, and no one saw them as different. Reiko came with a small group of Japanese therapists. I think it was about 1991. And she toured the United States, and she went to several clinic settings and happened to visit our clinic. And so every year since then, she has come with a small delegation and then began bringing children probably about 4 years ago. 3 years ago, we actually had a camp with teens. And again, this past summer, we had another camp with teenagers.
Most of kids, it's very fast experience, even the fly in an airplane. And so for them, many things are just new experience. We came here and we met many people as well as animals and many beautiful natures. So whole experience, it's very sensory, real sensory motor experience.
Reiko has a way of very quietly and gently, sweetly intervening with a child that I've very much admired.
Still, I'm learning from Lois because I like her idea, and I wish I could have similar situation in Japan.
She's very knowledgeable and understands children's development, understands their sensory integration needs, and is working very hard in Japan in an environment that has been difficult.
The kids which I work with, they very couldn't get any formal support from government. So I decided to help them, even though it's just little, but better than nothing.
Reiko is much too modest about her skills and about the things she has done to further the cause of children in her own country. Reiko has used her knowledge and her love of children and has established many, many clinics in YMCAs, in local centers, in hospitals, and they're wonderful. One time I asked her if she wouldn't like to go to Nicaragua with me. And she said, well, I have my own Nicaragua. She goes to the offshore islands. She goes to South Korea. She goes to Hong Kong. And she educates therapists and teachers and parents about sensory integration and about the needs of children. And so it's grown over the years. We have built a really strong professional bond and a bond of friendship with mutual understanding of each other's approaches to therapy and with mutual respect with each other's interests in how to work with children. And I have had the chance of jointly working with her with children in Japan. I've also been able to work with her with children at the farm. The camp sessions, which are morning sessions because of Colorado heat in the afternoon, they begin with music and they end with music.
Hi there, Eddie-chan.
The first part of the morning is a gathering in our little therapy space, our little house, with children singing to each other, singing each other's names, perhaps learning a Native American dance, because we are in this part of the earth in a very Native American, Ute Indian, Arapaho Indian setting. Then we do specific chores, and these chores are done together in groups of 2 or 3 children. The children know what the chores are, they choose which ones they would like to do, and then it's very deliberate. There's a way to do it. And then we gather in the middle of the morning and we sing again, and we have a snack together. We sing a thanks to Mother Earth, and we have our snack together.
The things I need, the sun and rain and the Oh, see, the earth is good to me. Blessings on our snack.
Then the second half of the morning is a more free time, and that's at the request of the children. Can't we choose what we'd like to do? And so they choose whether they would like to go work with the animals some more, whether they'd like to jump on the trampoline. When a child begins to relate to the animal, it's one step from relating to a person. Sometimes a child with autism will be attracted to a chicken. Some children are very attracted to a rabbit. They can cuddle them and hold them. But there is a real caring kind of a connection. They learn how to be so caring to the chickens that they can spread the feed on the ground without startling them. And that may be the biggest challenge for a child with attention deficit, a child who is very hyperactive. So it's a combination of formal and informal, relating and being alone, if they choose to do that. It's very individual, it's very free-form. And that's something I think that they're trying to foster within these clinics that Reiko is interested in, and within this preschool that this couple is running. It's the formality and recognizing basic development, the way that the large muscle groups develop, the way that basic balance develops, that gives you the stability, and then the movement built upon that stability. First comes the stability, then the mobility, and then the creativity within that ability to move. And that is seen in the way they develop the dance and the movement and the singing. In a clinic setting, you have a flat floor, and you may have to have equipment that provides uneven surfaces. On a farm, the nature of the land itself is uneven, so your balance is being challenged.
I'm gonna take this off.
There's a tree to climb,
Everybody has to be up.
or there may be a log bridge over the irrigation ditch to go over, which provides a little low ropes course. There are all kinds of ways that balance and equilibrium and fear of movement, fear of being off the ground is addressed, but in a very informal, kind of sideways way, so that the activity is so interesting that the child doesn't even realize that they may be in a therapy setting. The very last thing we do to close out the morning is gather together again in the therapy space and sing our goodbyes, recap what's happened during the day, and think about what's going to happen the next day. So it's connecting, going apart, connecting again, but music threads it all together.
Goodbye, Reiko. We'll see you again tomorrow.
An important part of camp at the farm is meeting the parents beforehand, and then afterward, writing a report and meeting them afterward, and tracking how well these children have done after camp is over. In the past camp that we had with the Japanese teens, we were able to get the parents' input on paper before they came, but we were also able to travel to Japan and to actually meet them and see those teens.
Nice to meet you.
知ってたら感想で楽しかったしかないので、ラマのリンゴの話とか感想。
And what we heard from the parents was, yes, the things that happened because of this trip, these teens did change, and the change held. So it has made a
こ
difference.
んばんは、久保田恵理子の母です。もうお世話になりました。ありがとうございました。もうまたですね、帰ってくるなり、また行きたいってすごくもう行って大変だったんですけど、また機会があったらぜひですね、よろしくお願いします。
He had a present time in America. He said, I want to go to America then.
I know that Reiko's dream will be different than mine. The way it plays itself out will be different from mine, but it will fit in her setting. No matter where the setting, though, the ideas, the same ideas still apply.